Okay, let's do this. Let's go, let's go. How's everybody doing? Ladies. Oh my gosh, do I look tired or what?
No, you don't. You look great.
Are you serious right now? Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm flipping. I don't even know what. Anyways, all good, all good. Let me just fixing myself a little bit. How's it going, girls? What's happening? Haven't seen her in 2 weeks. Let's just give a little time to see who's gonna show up for this call. Just give a little moment here. It's 5:01. Nellie's in the call. Hey, Nellie. How's it going, girl? Danielle, how's it going, girl? Let me open up a few things here while you ladies are coming in. Um, Shay's in the house. Let me see something here. Hmm. Where is it? All right. So why is everybody so quiet? Chat a little bit. Oh, I'm waiting for everybody. We got 9. I don't know how many people are gonna come in the house. But you, Holly, wake up, girl. Wake up.
This,
She's like,
you know that the day after the Super Bowl is the most called in sick day of the year.
really? Oh my gosh. I think Carolina's for Super Bowl. Who
Yeah,
win? Who won? Like what
did
happened?
anybody watch it? Did you watch it, Tina?
I did. I was at
Yeah, I
Radha's.
bet Rada was watching it.
Oh, me and Radha were watching it together, actually.
Yeah, nice.
But I did sleep like the first half because I was tired. We had Sia's dance performance yesterday, so we were very
Yeah.
busy all day. And then I took a nap for the first half of the game, watched the halftime. And that was very interesting. It was interesting. And then watched the second half of the game, which really wasn't a game. So we basically just I mean, to be honest, we kind of ate a bunch of food that our husbands were like, we're gonna tell Coach Patricia that you guys were eating this. And I'm like, it's
Wow.
not gross.
Going you on the bus just like that, huh?
I know. And I was like, you know what? We actually are allowed to eat this because it is in our macros. We have planned for
Oh,
this.
okay.
We
Okay.
we we have been
Let's go.
good all day. We get to partake of all this
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
super
Gosh,
good food.
I don't think last time I watched a any game like that was probably when I was married, like 10 years ago. No, 7 years, 8 years ago. I like MMA, but I don't know. I'm just not into Super Bowl, but everybody is, I guess. Everybody here watches Super Bowl, this stuff? No, you don't, Holly? Wow, that's shocking.
I used to. I
You
mean,
know,
yeah, I don't care anymore. I like MMA too, honestly.
MMA, I think it's fun. Yeah, I'm like, let's go.
I
At
will
least
say that there
uh,
were some very interesting commercials, and you guys should actually Google the one about women's flag football because it's a Nike commercial and
yeah.
it is such a powerful commercial. And basically what it says is that even when you don't win, win.
Mm.
And I think it's such a great message, and I would encourage all of you to actually Google it and watch it. It's really fantastic. And
For
there's
the
a lot of
commercial.
commercials about um, diversity, women's empowerment. There's one that was about breast cancer. It's
Mm.
so interesting how they made this commercial. I really like if you guys didn't watch the Super Bowl, that's fine. You didn't miss anything. It was one-sided game, but
But
the
the commercials,
commercial
okay.
yeah, actually were very interesting. And so I think some lessons there actually.
Mm, all right. I'll go with the commercials. I guess there is an agenda, right, behind this whole thing, always, right, on the Super Bowls and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And that's why I stopped watching because I'm like, I'm not gonna let people brainwash me. You know, that I'm sorry, I'm not saying that they are brainwashing you, but that's their agenda is like to push their whatever belief system they want to
Yeah.
carry, make a
But
statement. And it's
interestingly
like this
enough,
is supposed to be sports. Like I don't get it, but anyways.
I think the
Just like
message
the
this time was
Olympics,
really
right?
good.
Like they were trying to make a statement about everything. I'm like,
Yes,
okay,
very true. Yeah. You're like,
eh,
I just want to watch football. Yeah, correct.
I want to watch the girls doing the thing. I don't want to, because I can throw my stuff down your throat, girl. But we all know that that does not work, right? Anyhow, here we go. We are shifting into this community group call. Super excited to have you ladies here. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you something that it doesn't matter to me how hard, how challenging things are. Trust me, nobody has a perfect life. We all have our days. But when I come here and I'm like, wow, look at these girls, they're coming to connect, they're coming to hear, they're coming to get inspired or just get a gold nugget, whatever, right? Just to keep going. It just means a lot. And I am just so grateful, like truly grateful for you taking the time to show up on a Monday night to hear us talk and to share your energy and just be present with us. It's a true gift, and I want to acknowledge you for that. And with that being said, there are a couple of things that I would like to share before we go into we're gonna try to make it extra special today. Coach Sima is going to try to do a live coaching session. So you can already start thinking about if you want to be you know, if you want to volunteer to be that person, or we are going to volunteer you, volunteer you, which one? We're gonna volunteer you, we're gonna pick you. But before we go any further here, I'm just going to share that, we have almost a full house, girls, for our women's retreat. Just like it's so interesting, right? When we are meant to do something, how the doors open, right? We have always, every year, right? We do, and I don't know. Sometimes I think you just need to push through the adversity, but sometimes, there's just this thing in you that you're like, this is probably not the right time, right? And it was with a heavy heart last year that we canceled, our women's retreat. And it was so interesting. I can't even begin to tell you, right, Coach Sima? We were just like, holy cow, what's going on here? Because I know that that's a vision. I know that that's part of the calling. I know that this is what we're supposed to do. But anyway, so this year we put it out, and just like that, we already got like 8 ladies jumping in, like super excited to come to the women's retreat. So we do have few spots available. Would love to have you there, girls. Trust me, it is a gift from heaven, okay, to spend 4 days together. We had pizza, we drink alcohol, we work out, we learn about macros, hormones, we cry, we talk about relationships, we go on boat trips, we pass out, you know, we do it all. Okay. So if you're thinking that also you need to look perfect, to be on these trips, no, you do not. Okay. You own, there is no judgment, right? If because you can probably think about, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on the beach and what am I going to do? And I'm not, and I can see people thinking about those things. And trust me, girls, once you're there and you're really engaged and you're really part of the sisterhood and the community, there is nothing but love for you and encouragement and inspiration for you to stay on a journey, continue the journey to heal and just come back completely refreshed ready to end the year strong, you know? So if that is the only thing holding you back from going, I'm going to encourage you to not do that. Do not self-sabotage and do not hold you back for an incredible experience. I promise you, we are going to rock you flipping world. I'm telling you right now. We
Yeah.
always we always get those, you know, people with testimonies like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I thought it, and it was amazing. I didn't think about it. Anyways.
And I think one other thing I just want to add is that, you know, doing hard things are what makes us grow. And so if something about going on this trip is hard for you, I'd love for you to encourage yourself to approach it with that mindset, right? That doing hard things makes us grow, right? So whether it's getting in a bathing suit in front of others, whether it's um, feeling like you shouldn't leave your family for 4 days,
Mhm.
feeling
Yep.
like you shouldn't take the time off work, feeling like you don't deserve to spend the money on this trip for yourself when you should be spending it on any number of other things, right? If it's something, of course, yes, you want to be reasonable and you can afford it, but outside of that, sometimes we make up excuses because we don't feel that we're worthy enough, or we feel that
Mhm.
it's going to be too difficult. And so I really want you guys to just think about that and challenge yourself in that respect as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone thinks about those things. When we are there, we ask, and they were like, "Yep." But here I am. The one common denominator that I heard from every woman that always come, that have all those thoughts going on, is, but inside of me there was a little voice saying, "You have to go. You have to go, girl. You gotta go." And then they just follow that. If that's you, it's calling you. So I am going to see you there. Okay. All right. So the other thing I'm going to share, maybe I should have shared this last, but I'm going to share this now. It's going to sound like a little bit how can I say, I don't know, a little bit of pulling your ears or whatever you want to call. But I know we don't have every client on this call, but we do have a lot of people that watch the replay. So maybe what I'm going to say, it's not for you. So if it's not for you, I'm just going to already prophesy. Don't take it personal. Okay. If it's not for you, then you're like, it's not for me. Okay. Move on. If it is for you, just take it as well as, okay. All right. I gotta do this work. I gotta understand here what I need to do. Make sense? But obviously, at the end of the day, we are all on your team, right? At the end of the day, we are all trying to improve. We're trying to help you. And the only thing that I care is that you get progress, that you get results. Okay. But by now, you have already learned, or if you have not and you're still struggling with that, there will be a messy place in this process of transformation, right? So transformation, it starts with this excitement and, oh my gosh, everything is going to look perfect because you are looking the end results of somebody that did the process, that went through the whole thing, right? And you don't know what it took for that person to be on the other side, right? Because when I post those posts on social media, it's not the middle, it's not the beginning, it's called the before and the after, right? So when you look the before and you're like, oh my gosh, that woman looks just like me, and you look at the after, you're like, whoa, that's totally possible. But then in your brain, you think that is just like that, before and after. And it's not, right? There is a big flip and pause in between the before and after, which are huge process, right? That is an emotional process, that is a process of investment, that is a process of crying, is a process of cheating, on your nutrition, is a process of, you know, dropping the ball and then picking back up. It's a flipping roller coaster, right? And then Instagram just gives me like, 1,000 words to describe. So I needed to just through the bullets there, right? And then everything looks nice and pretty but nobody knows this struggle. that it goes in the middle, right? And that is the part that you're gonna have to embrace. Just because it's messy in the middle, that doesn't mean you're failing, right? Just because you don't look a certain way yet, that doesn't mean that you are not going to, right? So I'm gonna bring, the reverse diet into this conversation, because no, it's I think, we keep going through this process of how can I say, rewiring our brains, right? And relearning what works. And unfortunately, because we are, working with people, women that have been, for years and years and years and years and years, just used to the number on a scale. Yes, once again, I'm talking about the number on the scale, right? For years and years and years and years, just the only way that things are changing is when you step on the scale, right? For the majority of women, right? That even if you still are looking good and you look in the mirror, I would just be very curious if anybody has experienced that. That you wake up in the morning, okay, and you look in the mirror and you're like, dang, I see it. Look at that. Wow. Okay, look, the triceps coming up here. I'm not as bloated. Wow, look at the booties popping up a little. That's cool. Dang, look at my biceps. And then you're like, okay, let's go. Let's do this, right? You gotta do check-in. And you step on the scale and you're feeling good. And you step on the scale. Oh my God. I can't believe it. I cannot believe I get 2 pounds or I get whatever, 3 pounds. Ah, this is the most that I have been in so long. I can't believe it. She's making me eat all these carbs. I know it's a lot of the carbs. God. And then you go and you grab the how can I say, the type form, right? And you, I'm frustrated, because I'm like, I think we need to have a rule. Rule number one is you only going to fill out the type form before you step on the scale and do your measurements. Like, for real, try that and tell me if after you fill out the form, you are going to be like, oh shit, I need to go back and redo that type form because now I'm pissed. Just because you saw the number on the scale. Okay. But the interesting part is that before you were just like, dang, look at me. I can see some changes, right? But and then after the number on the scale is over. And I actually experienced that myself last week. I was like, holy cow, look at my butt. Girls, you know my story. I've been sharing this with you for so long. Here, come on now. I can't grab my back. I can't grab my back. Right? And I finally seen some growth lately, and I'm excited, right? And I'm like, my legs are super thick, and I'm like, wow, look at that. I'm finally putting on muscle again. This is exciting. And then I go on the scale, just mind you, I was 112 pounds on my cut. 112 pounds on my cut. Yeah, that's very little, right? So obviously it's not sustainable. So a good cut for me would be probably 115 pounds. I have been tiptoeing between 118, 119 and a half. I stepped on the scale and it was 23.7. Oh shit. What just happened? Excuse my vocabulary. I literally had like this moment, right? I haven't seen that number on the scale. I cannot even remember probably when I was pregnant. Okay. I was like, holy cow. And then I catch myself thinking about you ladies. I was like, girl, you just look at the mirror. You just said, look at your booty. Look at this. Look at that. Blah, blah, blah. What does it have to do with anything? I'm like, oh, I know, but I never, wow, I haven't been 23 and 0.7 like in so flipping long. What's going on? Is this really muscle? I literally start spiraling down like you ladies. That's crazy, right? And it was so good because I was like, oh my gosh, I can totally relate to that. But guess what? It's just a thought. It's not the truth. Okay? It's not the truth. So what is the truth? Well, the truth is I'm looking pretty good because when I look in the mirror first, I was like, holy cow, girl, you finally getting what you want. You've been working so hard. So I'm gonna stick and I'm gonna choose that one. And I look good and my clothes are feeling. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's that mindset, okay, that you have to continue working on, that it's not the flipping number on the scale. Yes, it matters, but it's not the main thing. So I'm just going to share with you just to remind you a couple of things here. Okay, is this relatable, girls? Is this like some, can anybody relate to this? I know you guys are busy running, doing whatever, but can you relate to this at all? Anybody in this call? Drop a comment or something. So I'm going to just remind you, I'm just going to go over the reverse diet and the cut and all that kind of stuff just for a little bit, just so I can remind you. And one of the things that I see, the most common thing when I see the how can I say, the check-ins for people that are on a reverse, which every single person in this program goes to the reverse as soon as they come in. Nobody in the program goes through a cut first. So that's not protocol. So there's a protocol that we follow, okay? And it doesn't matter if you need to lose 80 pounds or if you need to lose 5 pounds. We're all going to always start with a reverse. There are numerous reasons for it. And, if you want to know more, I will, message you to explain, because I did that with you on the macros coaching call. But for some of you has been so long that you probably forgot. Okay. But by the way, if you would like to jump on another macros coaching call, okay, if anybody here or that is watching later are struggling with macros because it's been so long and you didn't think that you got it right the first time or whatever, we just had a client doing that the other day. Okay, she signed up a couple of months ago. She had a lot of things going on in her life. She really didn't get it, the thing the way that she wanted to get, the way that it was supposed to. So she was all over the place. And I messaged her and she said, can I jump on another macros coaching call? We're like, absolutely, right? So she jumped on another macros coaching call, which happens pretty often. And guess what? She's crushing the macros now, because now her mindset is in a better place, right? So you see what I'm saying? She was going through a season as soon as she signed up, so it threw her off. So my point is, you can always come back to that call, because I explain a lot. That call is about almost like an hour and a half. Okay. So a lot of this, why, the science behind all those things I share on that call. And, but I'm just going to chat on a couple of bullets here for those of you that are not on the call, because I believe that everybody on this call understands the reverse diet. But, a reverse diet is a structured, gradual increase in calorie, okay? After a period of under eating, or when you do need to work on putting on muscle, okay? Or, when your body have hit a metabolic adaptation, which is called plateau, right? So if you were stuck, okay, and you just keep trying to do the same thing over and over and over again, and your body just won't move. Okay, the scale doesn't move, the measurement doesn't move. It's just like you're just spinning around and nothing happens. Okay, so the reverse diet will help break that. Okay, so meaning eating more. Okay, is especially beneficial for women who have been in a calorie deficit for too long, which is a very common thread, with most women, and have been dealing with hormone imbalance, because if you are eating healthier foods with more dense, more nutrition, your hormones are going to start to get up regulated. We have clients that literally start eating more, and their symptoms of perimenopause and menopause just diminish tremendously. More energy, better sleep, less hot flashes, better libido, and you name it. Okay, less hair falling. Okay, those are all great benefits, right? So it restores for the women in perimenopause, menopause. It restores the metabolism, supports hormone balance, like I said, improves energy, sleep, mood, all of that, and supports muscle gain. That's why your metabolism, right, will get spiked, which is a great thing. So increase caloric intake without excessive fat gain. Okay, so if you do it strategically, you will be able to eat more, right, to put on fat, to put on muscle, to burn fat, but you are still going to gain some weight in the process, right? So it gives you better performance in your workouts due to the increased carbohydrate intake, okay? And improves metabolic efficiency, which you already talked about that, which makes future fat loss easier. That's the part that you really need to get, girls. We need to get you up in order to bring you down, okay? And the bigger I do, we create a gap, right, in how much you eat, the more your fat loss phase or your cut is going to be, giving you more results, if that makes sense, okay? So what to expect in a reverse diet? The scale may stay the same, or increase slightly, or even drop due to the improved body composition. Okay, so it can happen in either direction depending how your body's going to respond, but it's not expected. Okay, weight loss is not to be expected on a reverse diet. Measurements can decrease because of muscle building. A lot of you have already experienced that. And that is, and obviously will give you more flexibility on your diet, right? So some of you have been in a cut here, a cut is no joke, right? Especially at the end, you coming from a reverse diet and you were able to eat so much and you were spoiled, you were complaining that you gained some weight or whatever because of the muscle mass and a little bit of fat. Yes, we will gain that. Sometimes it will happen. We don't have any other way around, but we are putting on muscle. And then you go into a cut and you're just like, we have clients that we put them on a cut and they absolutely hate and they want to go back to a reverse. Darren is one of them, like she's not on this call, but Darren's like, I can care less for weight loss. Let me eat and build muscle all day long, So once you understand, you will embrace that. The majority of people will. Like Simon is another one as well. Now she's invited to be on the cover of a Women's Health magazine some point this year. This is how incredible she looks. So, and she stayed on the reverse for almost a year to be where she's at. And now that we did a cut, she totally shredded and got invited to a flipping Women's Health fitness. I mean, not everybody wants to be on a cover of a magazine, but my point is, she just decided to stay on the reverse for a year, just working on building. Then when we were able to cut, she shredded. Makes sense? And this is someone that had breast cancer, 5 surgeries, okay? No energy when she came into the program, completely like exhausted, adrenal fatigue to the core, no testosterone. The doctors were saying she couldn't take HRT. She's an oncologist, and then together with the HRT team that we just kept doing research, we were able to find a loop to be able to get her some hormone replacement therapy, and she's thriving since then. So there's always ways to do things. So I really, really would love for you to take note on this, okay? You sign up into the program, right? Because of whatever situation you saw, somebody that you saw on the social media or a friend of yours, that got amazing results and share about the program with you. And, I explained to you over and over and over again, this process of the reverse and the cutting. So it's really challenging when we are trying to get you to get those results and you are fighting us back, you know what I mean, to do what we are trying to do to give the results that you want. So once again, I gotta, remind you to trust the process, okay? You are not going to blow up. I promise you. We have all eyes on you. We are looking at your progress on a weekly basis. We are paying attention to what is going on. If we need to jump on a call, we will jump on a call. If we need to pivot, we'll pivot. But you are not going to, just blow up and nobody's going to do anything, and you're not going to have a result if you don't quit, right? I have seen people leaving the program in the middle of a reverse because they gained 5 pounds in a reverse, and they were like, I came to lose weight and I gained 5 pounds, and this is not okay, and they left. And I was like, didn't I explain to you that we need to finish this and then go for a cut? And I was just like, what? I don't understand that. I explained this to you. Does that make sense? So I've gained, girls, 7 pounds. Okay. But there is a difference between you gaining weight for the sake of gaining weight, an unhealthy weight, and gaining a healthy weight, a weight that you are gaining on purpose, right? So you got to understand that we are gaining. There's when you're doing a reverse diet, I'm gaining on purpose. There is a reason behind it, and it's control. Does that make sense? So just really want to encourage you to, for those of you that are on a reverse diet and you feel like you're eating a lot, you need to trust the process, because we will go into the cutting phase. And when you do, then things are going to feel much better, and you're going to forget about all this stress and all this frustration that some of you have. Okay. So, and once again, I know that that's not the ladies in the call, so I apologize that you had to go through this with me, but this is for the people that are going to be watching this later. Okay. So I hope this supports you. If you need anything, just message me. If you need a call to remind all of this, to go over this process with you, I have no problem. Just message me and we will book a call. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to let this next 30 minutes to be shift into what we have been doing this last, I don't know, month or so, which has been all about, the mindset coaching. Coach Sima is supporting with those calls. And she had an idea to, get somebody to, to coach live. And I'm like, let's do it. Like, why not? Let's just bless those girls with this. So obviously, I love that Monica has her camera on. I love that Shay has a camera on. So maybe they should be one of those picked and the other one.
Everyone's
All
scared.
right.
Coach
Okay,
Patricia.
Coach Sima, take over, girl.
All right. First of all, there is no need to be scared. This is a very safe place, and I'm not here to you know, make anyone feel uncomfortable. So, just always keep that in mind. But, I wanted to just kind of recap from last week, right? So when we left off last week, we were talking, well, sorry, 2 weeks ago. We kind of were talking about, how we allocate our time, right? And if we are given kind of 10 coins, right? Life coins, how are we allocating those to the different areas of our life? And I think when we start to think about it that way, we start to realize that we're really giving a lot and there's not really a lot left for ourselves, right? And this is why we as women struggle to take care of ourselves, right? To join this program and then to actually execute it requires this time and energy that you are actually just putting on everything and everyone else in your life, right? And so, we were then kind of discussing, why do we spend so much time on everybody else, right? Why are we putting all of our energy and time to work, to our children, to our husband, to our siblings, to our friends, right? Socially, right? Why do we continue to give from an empty cup, right? And coming back to this idea of we keep doing when we feel that we are not enough deep down, right? Where we feel like I have to keep doing, right? I have to keep working hard. Otherwise, my boss is not going to see my value, right? I have to keep doing whatever it is that I'm doing at home because I'm trying to make my children's lives easier, right? Or I'm trying to prove something to my spouse, right? Because at some point, maybe he made me feel that I wasn't enough, right? So I'm still trying to do something for the wrong reasons, right? So I wanted to know if anyone kind of resonated with that last week and what your thoughts were. Like, did anyone have any thoughts? Did anyone have any kind of questions or comments, anything that they wanted to share? And if anyone feels comfortable just kind of talking about that and being coached a little bit, but even just to share a comment, you don't have to be coached. But if you want to turn your camera on or even just turn your volume on and speak, I'm going to actually stay quiet for a minute so that anyone who feels like they want to, but they're hesitating, has a minute to kind of think about it before they, you know, chicken out. So just bring it, girls, because this is where that doing something difficult will help you grow. This is real.
All right, nobody wants to participate today. You just want to listen.
Everybody's scared. There's no reason to be scared, ladies, I promise.
All right. I'm gonna call Shay to share.
It's like, no.
She's like, no, not doing it. Okay. All right then. Monica, talk to us then. Since like what is going on there? That's so funny. But it's okay. I'll respect to that. Go ahead, Monica.
Hi, everybody. It's just it was a good reminder for me. I don't know if it's a feeling of unworthiness or not feeling like I'm worth it. I feel like I am worth it. This is why I've spent the money on this program and I'm working it so hard because I am worth it. And like a lot of ladies have said, I want to be there for my kids and my hopefully potential grandkids. And I want to be strong and I want to be able to maintain my muscle as I age. I see so many people in their 70s and 80s that are frail and skinny. And, I have a friend that just like, a dog was walking by and knocked her over. She couldn't even keep her balance. So she's about 20 years older than me. And I don't want to be that way in 20 years. So, but I also know, even though I'm diligent about making time for my program, I get in my weights, I get in my walking, I do the food. I also realize that it is important for me to work on my mindset. I call it my to do the emotional work and the spiritual work. So I do have a program that's helping me work that. And I'm in also a book club with some ladies, and we're working on these books that are like self-improvement books. They're not like fiction, they're like self-improvement books. And I get a lot out of that. I really want to celebrate like Valentine's Day and being with other women that have a similar mindset. It is super helpful. And that's why I don't miss these calls. And if I do, I watch them later. Because I think that we can build each other up and strengthen each other. And it is hard work to look at yourself, to look at what your issues are. And I know I have to do it. And I know that's how you get growth. And I know that's how you change, by doing that hardship. So I just thought it was a good reminder, and I'm trying to put it into practice, and it helps to get those reminders frequently. So I don't fall back on my laurels and default to just like powering through and doing the stuff that, shows up that's so easy to see, right? The scale, the measurements. But what about the emotional stuff, the stuff in your heart and your brain that you're saying and doing? So thank you.
Yeah, I love that, Monica. I think what you said there was really key about it being a constant reminder, right? Because we do fall back, right? Very quickly, we fall back into our habits because that's what we've been doing for so long. And if we can have a reminder consistently, right? Whether it's the friends that we're interacting with, right? And doing a book club with, or it's the coming to this community, right? Or it's a spiritual path that you've decided to take that kind of gives you that outlet for learning and for changing your mind, right? Those are all great ways of like incorporating it in different parts of your life. And it still amazes me. I was talking to a client today that why is this not intuitive, right? Why is this not something that we just know how to do, right? You would think that being able to take care of ourselves should be the default, right? And yet somehow in today's world, in today's society, that's actually become completely the opposite, right? It's take care of everybody else, don't sleep, eat crappy, right? Drink a lot, stay up late, right? Like this is what we've kind of been doing, and now we're having to reverse it, and it's so much harder to kind of go backwards on these things that we've been doing all of that for so long, and then to try and go back and do it a different way, it does require that constant reminder, right? Like I love that you've kind of put it in a few different places now, right? Because that is how hard it is, right? It's like thinking about, when we're trying to create a new habit in our child, right? We have to do 3 or 4 different things to get them, right? We got a sticker chart over here, we got a list over here, we got a Google alarm clock over here reminding them like, okay, Sia, take your vitamin, right? Take the vitamin we're trying to get you to get in this habit of, right? It's like 4 different things. Like, okay, you took it. Okay, like here's a gold star. Like, how many things am I having to do just to get that one thing, right? And for us, it's even harder because we're now trying to get out of a habit first that we've created that's not a great habit to then, right? And with your mindset, it's the same thing. It's I've been thinking this. I've been thinking that working for 10 hours a day for the last 30 years is a good idea because that's showing how good I am at what I do and it's showing my dedication to this job, right? And now I'm like, shoot, this is actually killing me and I need to get out of that. But getting out of that thinking takes a lot of different avenues to kind of remind and bring it in and say, okay, wait, no, I'm trying to actually be healthy. I'm not going to work 10 hours today. I'm going to work 9. I'm going to work 8, right? I'm going to taper down and I'm going to bring more of the other things into my life that are actually going to help me because this is actually not helping me anymore. So thank you for sharing that, Monica. I'd be curious to know what book are you reading right now?
Not real good with technical stuff, sorry.
Okay.
So I'm in an Al-Anon program. I have friends and relatives in my life that are addicted to things. And so I work a 12-step program as a friend and a relative of an alcoholic. And there's another group called Adult Children of Alcoholics. So I have it in my family line and we're doing the reparenting workbook. So it's about taking care of your inner family, checking in with them, making sure they're all taken care of, that sort of thing.
Wow. That's fantastic. I mean, that is really deep work and it is so important. And it's interesting to me that the more clients I have, the more I realize that that conversation right there is is so much more prevalent than we think it is, right? Like we try to not talk about it, right? Because we think, oh, like, oh, it's just my family that's, you know, so messed up or so has these problems, and the more I talk to clients, the more I realize it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everyone has been touched or affected by things like this, and the more we can talk about it, the more we can help each other, like you said, to be in a community where you're discussing it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think before I was, part of my problem was I was trying to hide it. That's the family structure, right? You hide it. You don't bring it out in the open. You don't talk about it. But when you keep things secret, it eats you up on the inside. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Because that even reminds me of the whole thing with perimenopause and menopause. And now people are talking, but man, in the beginning of this, like 4 years ago, women were just like, they didn't even want to talk to their girlfriends about it. You know what I mean? Like everybody's pretending that it's something. I'm going bananas, but you are not. What's going on? And your friend is the same way. Like, oh my gosh, something's off here, but I don't want to say because I don't want to you think that I'm crazy. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden everybody started talking about like, what? You're going through that too? Me too, me too, me too, me too. And now, so I love that transparency and, vulnerability. So it's so important for this work. Anybody else? Look at Laura came in even in those last 15 minutes. Good to see you, girl. Love it, love it. So we were talking, Laura, about, this like piggybacking on last week call, a couple of weeks ago call on, why do we give to everybody but to ourselves? Why we keep going to those, to those cycles, right? Keep pushing. Were you here for the last call? No, you were not. Okay. So anyways, Monica just shared a lot and we would love, to see anybody else. Anybody else has anything to share on that? Okay, so nobody wants to share, I'll share. So if nobody wants to share, I'll share then. So I think, I'm with you, Monica, when it comes to this. I don't believe that for me particularly, and everybody needs to dig deeper to find out what it is for you, right? I don't think that for me is based on self-worth, you know. Maybe at some point it was. I think that for me now, it's I don't know, for some reason I feel that there's some kind of fear attached to it, and fear of missing out, or fear of um not having enough time to get done, to maybe I'm defaulting a little bit to people pleasing, like especially when it comes to my family, making sure that everybody is okay, right? Make sure that my son is okay, the grandbabies are okay, the relationship that my son has, it's okay, that my mom is okay, that my brother is okay, that, my relationship with Dan is okay, that my business is okay, that my clients are okay. Does that make sense? And it's taking, and I can't explain to you as a coach, like, I've been always, but once again, I got to be vulnerable with you, right? Because since day one, when I birthed this program, it wasn't the fit and tone of a food that I birthed. It was the love yourself to the core. And it wasn't because I was loving myself to the core. It was because it was a calling that I had to love myself to the core, that I stepped into the calling to understand what that was and to live that out, so I could every day work on loving me and showing up for me. And by doing that, I start to see the power that was being released in my life just by creating time and space for me. And once I started to do that, and I saw that that was the answer for pretty much everything else that I wanted to accomplish, and even by talking about, I'm like, holy cow, like it always goes back to that. I wanted to share with other people. I wanted other women to experience that too. And I saw the guilt, and I saw the shame, and I saw the the excuses, and then the lack of self-worth that it comes in different forms, right? The lack of self-love and the lack of self-care. I always put it hand in hand with the lack of self-love, of the lack of taking care of me and creating space for me for healing, mind, spirit, body, everything is always related to how much I love me. Right. And I can't love you. I can only, if I, I can love you, but I won't be able to love you as well, if I don't know how to love. And if I can't even give that love back to me. Does that make sense? It was just like this whole love thing that it became so cheesy and people just didn't even want to hear. but that was the calling, that has always been the calling. And I feel that lately, I don't know, I got put in a loop on this whole thing that I'm trying to figure out, where do I need to go? What is this now being masqueraded? What is the other face of this? Does that make sense? Like, what is the other face of, how is this now showing up for me? Like before it was showing up as in the lack of self-worth, then it showed up, as people pleasing, and then it showed up as me wanting to prove something to other people, and it showed up, it always disguised itself in a different way, right? And then you gotta now face this new way that is coming up for you. Does that make sense? But it's a habit, or it is a fight that is a constant. When you think that you just killed this one, then the cousin shows up, like in another form, and you're like, what the heck? I thought you were dead. No, I'm the cousin. I came now disguised in a different form. And the trap is when you, you know, go into shame, because you go like into this, well, but I thought that I knew better. I thought that I already had conquered this. I thought that, am I weak? What's going on here? Right? So that's a trap. And I always got to go back to that place that I'm like, no, 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 that's not going to serve me. I have to go back to be my best friend, my biggest cheerleader. And I'm the only one that I can do this for me. Like the other day I was thinking about that. I was praying, and I felt in my heart this voice saying, you need to take care of you, girl, because nobody will. Nobody will. Right? It's just like when we leave this earth, we leave alone. Right? We come in with our mom or the help of our, I don't know, maybe we come alone too, I don't know. But when we go alone, right? There is nobody that goes, oh, I'm gonna go with you. Let's go together. Maybe there is, I don't know. But I know we will step out of this alone. So there is this self-care and love, and keep working in you and getting to know you and giving to you and nurturing you and improving you and loving you and forgiving you, like getting back to you and taking care of you, because if you don't, nobody will. Nobody will. Nobody's gonna come to save you. People can come and say, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're strong, what are you doing? But until you start to say that to yourself again, you are going to just stay stuck, right? And I think that's the place that I am right now. Maybe I need a call with Coach Seema. I've been burned out a little bit lately. Just working a lot, doing a lot of things, still taking care of my body, but that it's not the same, girl. Just because you go to the gym and you work out, that doesn't mean you're doing self-care. For some, could be, if you haven't been doing that. Just because you're hitting your macros, that doesn't mean you're doing self-care. For some, maybe. There is other things that we got to continue working on to give ourselves. Does that make sense? I don't know. I could go on and on this here, but do you want to coach me, Coach Lindsay, Coach Seema?
I mean, yeah, absolutely I do. I mean, I think that, you know, you're, when it comes to your son, right? You are struggling, right? You are struggling. There is a real battle.
It's so funny. He just called me right now. And it's like, my heart is like pounding, you know what I mean? I'm like, is everything okay? Like, do I need to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
So what is the fear?
Hmm. I don't know. So weird. I don't know. Fear of it keeps coming back to me. Are you okay? Are you gonna be okay? Are you okay? It's that like um maybe fear of failure, maybe fear of can't control, right? Certain things, you know what I mean? That maybe the fear that I can't control, that it's out of my control, that I'm just like, there's so many things right now in my life that is not in my control, you know?
Yeah, and you said that in the beginning, right? When you said like I'm just going around making sure like everyone's okay, right? And you know, is it in your control, right? For it to make everybody's life okay, right? When you say like I just want to make sure that, you know, my son's okay, my grandbabies are okay, right? Is everything about that within your control,
No.
right? We want it to be, because that
Yeah.
would be a lot easier, right? When you said that there's a fear of failure, where whose failure? What failure are we talking about?
I don't know. It's funny, right? Because I've been through this so many times, and I think it's just layers of it, right? The fear, the failure of, I don't know. When you invest so much into something and you afraid to let go because of the investment of it in the relationship or in the work that you have put on and the hopes and the tears and the see what I'm saying? Like everything you have invested, and then you are just like, holy cow, when is the breakthrough gonna happen, right? And then you just gotta take a deep breath and then do it again, right? And then I'm just so notorious of being that kind of person that I just take another deep breath and I just, okay,
Going,
there's no stopping. There is no, you see what I'm saying? There is no, I
yeah,
gotta keep
relentless.
going.
Right. And so it's like the gambler, right? Who keeps putting money, right? He keeps thinking if I put one more coin in that machine, this is going to be the one, right? The expectation is that I am going to get rewarded for all of my investment.
Wow. That right there was deep. Okay. That I need to write that one down. Anybody relate to that? That one more thing. If I maybe just do one more of this, if I just get this one more coach to talk to him, if I could just pay for one more, maybe if he could just come to church with me, maybe if this, right? Just one more. And it's sucking the life out of you in so many directions, right? And you're just like, when are you going to surrender? And sometimes you hinder people's progress and growth, and I see that. And I guess, and we're gonna have to go here soon, but the biggest weakness that I have is my son. He's like my kryptonite. I don't know if anybody can relate to that here.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
I feel like for most of us, right? Isn't aren't our children everything? Don't we feel the burden of as a parent to succeed as a parent, to
Yeah,
have them go forth in life and prosper, right?
yeah.
Right? And it's
Like
only
it's like a continuation of us, right? And the truth is, there is no continuation of us. They are their own person,
that's it,
you
right?
know? Yep.
Can I see them as whole, resourceful, and complete so that I don't feel the need to consistently make sure they're okay. Are you okay? Are you
Yeah.
okay? Now, are you okay
And
now?
then do and everything that the thing is for me, the way that this shows up, I don't know if this show up for any of you, is that then I want to do more. I want to be more. And I want to show more discipline and show more of what's possible. So then I could potentially inspire him, right? When I am inspiring so many people, and I'm like, why can't I inspire? Like what is the point to inspire the whole world, but not be able to inspire the one that it's right there under your, see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and so I overwork, I over train, I over, I over, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I just want to be the example. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think right there is where you are still feeling that you're not enough as a mom, right? You're not doing it, but you are, right? You're choosing to see it this way. You are choosing to see that you keep putting money in the machine and it hasn't returned on your investment, right? Can we put the money in and expect nothing in return? Can we put the money in because as a parent, that's our job, right? Give support, give love, give encouragement, right? Give all the things that we needed to teach them when they are young. And
Yeah.
then have no expectation for what is to come out of this, right? I've given what I needed to give, and now I leave it in your capable hands. And I have to trust, right? Just like you tell us to trust the process. When we do a reverse and we're like, this freaking sucks. I stepped on the scale today. You put me on a reverse last week. I put it in the notes. I stepped on the scale today. It was 115. Was I trusting the process when I was like, fudge, dude? No, I wasn't trusting the process. I was annoyed that the scale said 115 instead of 113 like it did last week. I was like, I already put on 2 pounds. God dang it. But I know I'm gaining, right? I'm supposed to be gaining muscle. It's no different that you have to trust the process, that you've given him the tools. You did, right? You gave him the tools. You taught him a lot of things. You've led by example. Now you have to step back and trust the process. And that is not easy. Just like you're telling us it's not easy, you'll only see the result in 8 months from now when we do the cut. I'm like, God, 8 months? What the hell? Like, I can't wait 8 months. Maybe your waiting is not going to be 1 year, and maybe it's not going to be 5. Maybe it's going to be 20. And is that hard? Yeah, that's a whole lot harder. But I've given and I've given and I've given, and you have nothing else to give now. You have done it. Can you sit back and can you trust the process?
Yeah. That's a really good analogy of this, machine and right and the trusting and using the same tools, right, that I use with everything else to translate into this relationship with my son, right? To trust the process that I've given him all the macros, right? That he could have taken. I give him all the workouts. I give him all the mindset coaching, and I can't give it anymore. You know what I mean? And that's the part that it sucks for someone like me that I'm just give, 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 give. And I never give up and I always fight, 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 to be able to say, I gotta let go. That's the biggest struggle. And but I know it's what is necessary. Um, and I have people in my life right now that I'm putting around me to help me and hold me accountable for that. And I think that's the key. I say this all the time, girls, you can't do anything alone. Very little things you can do alone. You got to have a community. You got to have the right coaching. You got to, for whatever it is that you're struggling and you can't do it alone, that you're stuck, you will continue being stuck if you don't have the right support for whatever that is. And so, like somebody messaged me on Instagram and asked me, do you have coaches? I'm like, are you kidding me? I have a lot of coaches, Sima is a support, I have a coach for my business, I have a coach for my hormones, I have a coach for my marriage, you know, my relationship, I have a coach for my spirituality. You don't understand. I am a product of coach. But honestly, I didn't have a coach for this whole thing with my son. And it just dawned on me on that. You know, I'm like, man, I need to have a coach for this too, you know, because I gotta hold myself back and I have to stop giving and enabling. And it's so hard. And especially because now he's 21 with two kids from two different mamas, you know. I'm like, holy cow, you know, like I did everything, crossed every T and dotted every I, and what's going on here, you know? Um, but I gotta step back and I need the accountability. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah, I think that the thing to ask, right, is have I not done enough and that's why I keep doing more, or is he just
yeah,
not there to accept, right? Is he just not there yet, right? Just like we say
yeah,
with the client who's in the program, right? Who I'm coaching, right?
yeah,
We have this conversation all the time. That client is not ready. He's
yeah.
not. If he's not ready, is it a question of he's not ready or you haven't done enough?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question there, right? Is he not ready, or haven't I done enough, or haven't I not done the right thing? Or you see what I'm saying? So there is a lot of questions there. But I will, you know, I tried to let you girls, you know, share your stuff. You didn't, so I took it. Okay. Uh, I am, you know, who I am, and this is it. You know, I'm vulnerable anyways, but I wanted to share because we always struggle. But for me to finalize this is the fact that I can't do anything on my own, girls. And so, you know, and so can you, right? Whatever the situation is happening there, this struggle, you're going to have somebody to talk to. You're going to have a community. You're going to have a coach or whatever. Don't do it alone, right? Like just this week, and I'll leave you with that. You know, I had a call with one of our clients, not call, we talked back and forth with one of our clients that is in this call. And she cried and she was upset. And but Coach Holly and I, we are on her corner, you know, and I'm like, doesn't flipping matter. You know what I mean? Like, we are going to get this thing done. Don't think you are doing this alone, right? So stay plugged in. This is not just about macros and workouts. We say this all the time, and that's why we have shifted this call into bringing Coach Seema and talking more about mindset and, you know, whatever you need to do, pray, read a book, you know, you need to stay feeding your soul, your mind, because self-care, it's not just macros and workouts. Love you. See you in 2 weeks. And thank you, Monica, for sharing. And we will be keep moving forward, right? That's all we do. Trust in the process.
Thank
Bye,
you.
girls. Thank you. Bye.